It's really been a way for people to magnify their bets on AI. I was surprised to see Tesla, make the top of the list once again, especially because of how popular NVIDIA has been as a trade.
And underlying that is a belief from Tesla that the system is actually better than drivers, and so statistically, it's more, it's likely that these cars will perform better than a lot of drivers on the road.
All that and more. So let's get to it.
And the options market is booming with the most action it has seen in at least 50 years. That is according to an analysis done by the Wall Street Journal. Gunjan Banerjee, the author of that report, joins us here on set. She's also a CNBC contributor. Gunjan, great to have you with us. And it's amazing how much it's risen, but also what it's been driven by, and that is short-dated options.
That's right. There's been a mania in these shorter-dated options known as zero DTE, and that's really helped turbocharge this mania that really began in 2020 during the pandemic when people were stuck at home. They were opening their Robinhood apps and playing the options market. And since then, the activity has just soared and soared and soared. Shorter dated options recently made up around half of all activity. And, this is a new product. This is something that wasn't even on the scenes, last year, 2 years ago. So it's pretty remarkable when you look under the hood.
Is there a sense of what percentage of those zero-dated options are retail-driven or institutional?
Many of those zero-dated options are retail-driven. They are part of the mix, especially in the market for S&P 500 index options. I've seen mixed estimates of that, but rookie investors, they loom large in this market. They actually make up a greater share of the options market than they do the stock market. Of course, that raises concerns of, are these individual investors taking too much risk out there?
As a rookie investor, I don't think it comes more rookie than what you're looking at right now. I know what level of risk that I'm willing to take. Everything in my brokerage account right now is play money. Much like when I go to the casino. When I walk in there with currency, all of that is basically monopoly money. This is what allows me to manage risk. Humans are irrational creatures, myself included. There's no way I'm willing to take this risk right here if I don't trick my brain into thinking this is how this is going to be. And it's going to be all right either way. Tesla stock could have dropped to $24. Shout out to Gordon Johnson there. Lo and behold, it didn't. But just like in the casino, not all gambling is created equal. You go to the slot machines or the roulette table, your odds of winning are really out of your control. When you get to games like blackjack, or in my opinion, the best form of casino gambling, the poker room, you're able to do certain things to tip the odds in your favor, playing against other irrational human beings. Dare I say there is an opportunity present?
The most popular trades that you highlight in your report are sort of the usual suspects. AI, Tesla is always the most popular individual option. What other things have risen to the top?
It's really been a way for people to magnify their bets on AI. I was surprised to see Tesla, make the top of the list once again, especially because of how popular NVIDIA has been as a trade.
I'm not.
It also seems like these one-day options, they become a way for people to play the economic uncertainty that we've seen this year. 4 out of the top 5 trading days for one-day S&P 500 options were around days like CPI, the labor market data, GDP data. So watch out for that in trading tomorrow and Wednesday when we see CPI, PPI, because that's been a way for people to play these huge moves in stocks and bonds through things like TLT.
This isn't your pop stock market anymore. As the world turns, you must adapt to your new surroundings. Make some room for the rookie investors. We out here willy-nilly not giving a All right, if you haven't heard by now that the Washington Post hates Tesla's Autopilot. Tesla drivers run Autopilot where it's not intended, with deadly consequences. At least 8 fatal or serious Tesla crashes occurred on roads where Autopilot should not have been enabled in the first place. Oh boy. Look, this article is a 12-minute listen. I'll have the article linked below. Let's just say it doesn't paint Tesla in a rosy picture. So much, in fact, that Tesla issued a statement about it. They don't do this very often, so I will touch on the highlights of this response. While there are many articles that do not accurately convey the nature of our safety systems, the recent Washington Post article is particularly egregious in its misstatements and lack of relevant context. We at Tesla believe that we have a moral obligation to continue improving our already best-in-class safety systems. At the same time, we also believe it is morally indefensible not to make these systems available to a wider set of customers, given the incontrovertible data that shows it is saving lives and preventing injury. Regulators around the globe have a duty to protect consumers, and the Tesla team looks forward to continuing our work with them towards our common goal of eliminating as many deaths and injuries as possible on our roadways. They can't say it, but I sure can. F you, Washington Post. 1. Safety metrics are emphatically stronger when autopilot is engaged than when not engaged. 2. Autopilot features, including traffic-aware cruise control and auto steer, are SAE Level 2 driver assist systems, meaning whether the driver chooses to engage auto steer or not, the driver is in control of the vehicle at all times. The driver is notified of this responsibility, consents, agrees to monitor the driver assistance, and can disengage at any time. Despite the driver being responsible for control for the vehicle, Tesla has a number of additional safety measures designed to monitor that drivers engage in active driver supervision, including torque-based and camera-based monitoring, which, if you've seen any of my FSD beta videos, is quite annoying. If you haven't read the article linked below, I highly encourage you to do so. It makes no attempt at giving an unbiased report, an inflammatory hit piece generated for the clickbait. It effectively destroys any credibility that I feel the Washington Post might have on this topic and others. The Washington Post leverages instances of driver misuse of the autopilot driver assist feature to suggest the system is the problem. The article got it wrong, misreporting what's actually alleged in the pending lawsuit and omitting several important facts. 1. Contrary to the Post article, the complaint doesn't reference complacency or operational design domain. 2. Instead, the complaint acknowledges the harm of drivers' inattention, misuse, and negligence. Tesla's rebuttal will also be linked in the comments below. Absolutely disgusting for the Post to manufacture this story in an attempt to discourage individuals from using this software. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. With the autopilot features engaged, people are less likely to get into an automobile accident.
Well, new analysis from the Washington Post found that at least 8 fatal or serious crashes involving Tesla's Autopilot occurred where the Autopilot feature should not have been accessible in the first place. Now, the car's manual does warn that its Autopilot can be unreliable on roads with hills and curves, but the company has not taken steps to limit its availability by geography. Now, for more on this, we want to bring in Colin Rush. He's Oppenheimer's Managing Director and Senior Research Analyst. Colin, it's good to see you. Let's talk about what this means just in terms of wider spread adoption, right? Because we've seen the fact that EVs, at least in terms of demand, that demand seems to be falling.
Lateral movement EVs from GM, Ford, they're not moving. Tesla EVs, they're in high demand.
We had this report out from the Washington Post pointing to some issues that Tesla might have here with its Autopilot system. What do you think how big of a risk do you see this being for Tesla, at least in the short term?
I want to step back a little bit on this EV narrative because I think the growth has been moderating a little bit. We're still talking about 35 to 40% year-over-year unit growth on EVs. So I just want to make sure that point gets made.
Get 'em! Colin Rush doing the dirty work for these news anchors.
But the report from the Washington Post is important because it raises the debate that I think is happening within the industry about how to manage risk as you bring this new technology into the market and who's actually responsible for that risk. And the Tesla policy that we're seeing really puts the onus on operators to comply with the manual rather than putting some incremental controls on this. And underlying that is a belief from Tesla that the system is actually better than drivers. And so statistically, it's more, it's likely that these cars will perform better than a lot of drivers on the road.
No, first-hand experience, the software is much better than myself. But no doubt, I'm a very low are. These glasses right here, folks, they're prescription. Astigmatism like -7. I don't wear these for the likes, my boys. For the lighting to be halfway decent, I have to wear these. Yet the state of Texas has bestowed upon me the right to operate a motor vehicle. Trust me, I'm grateful. I just don't know how that happened. Tesla FSD to the rescue.
But I think the regulatory approach that we've seen so far is that the regulators are following the industry because the technology is moving so quickly. And as we go forward here, I think there's going to be more public concern and transparency that's necessary to really gain trust amongst the broader population around how these vehicles really do carry forward.
So, Colin, but you don't see that weighing on demand, at least for Tesla, in the near term until we get some more clarity on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Tesla's got a brand issue, and this really started with Elon's acquisition of Twitter and his public persona and what he's got in that public discourse around his political views and whatnot. And so, as we move forward with this technology, I think it's a part of a larger branding issue for Tesla in terms of how they present themselves, because they were seen really as the leading company on bringing clean, safe vehicles to market. And now as the reality comes forward, there's a lot more going on here. And I think there's a lot of folks that have gotten concerned with supporting Elon Musk individually from a brand perspective. And there is this ongoing cost out program and kind of war of attrition that's happening in the EV space as well.
Well, this is where I will differ with Colin Rush. Colin Rush is a bright individual, does fairly well in the stock market, but I don't believe there's enough virtue signaling cowboys to divert the majority of consumers from the best product out there. There just isn't. Regardless how you may or may not feel about that guy back there, customer satisfaction for the product is overwhelming. Sure, I'm an early adopter. I may be jaded. That doesn't erase the fact that I'm on my third Tesla. And that's not going to change even if Elon Musk becomes a flat earther. As long as the products remain remarkable, it's a no-brainer for me. So while some investors may think, oh man, what about this? What about that? Elon, it doesn't matter what Elon does. He's human, he's flawed, but by damn, his products are some of the best things on the market today. And I could go on and on about individual CEOs left and right and their questionable choices.
And so I think this is just one more element of that broader dynamic, and it certainly isn't going to help folks, buy the FSD offering or sign up for it up front.
I did, and will continue to do so, despite what the Washington Post may or may not include into their articles. In conclusion, the options market is hotter than it's ever been. Leading the charge, you guessed it, TSLA. And the Washington Post can't leave the Tesla Autopilot features alone. Another hit piece out. Link below if you want to catch all the highlights. And the rare rebuttal from Tesla. News media anchors and financial analysts can't help but think this is another black eye for autonomous driving and EVs in general. We'll just add this to a laundry list of things that they've gotten wrong or been scared of. That's all I have for you today. Be easy. Peace.